This range is riled up. It's the number 2 team in the country, the Michigan Wolverines at home, to start Big Ten play in earnest against Penn State, which lost its first 2 in December. As we welcome you to the Big Ten on ESPN. It's go time for league play, and we saw Michigan State take the wrecking ball.
Second time in a row to win the Big Ten tournament title, and then obviously the run to the championship game where Dante DiVincenzo got him, but they have reloaded, and that guy right there, Iggy Brezdeikis, has been absolutely fantastic. John Beilein's schedule tough. I believe this is the number 1 team in the country based on how they've played. I know they're number 2 in one poll, number 4 in the other, but to me, this is the number 1 team in the country based on this year's resume.
Look, wins against Villanova, North Carolina, Purdue in conference play. It was a tough schedule. They've run it so far, and Brezdeikis is a major reason. As John Teske will jump center, Paul Sells to toss it up, and away we go from Chrysler Center this lovely Thursday evening. Penn State 0-2 in the league, 7-6 overall. Some close losses, although their best win was a huge one in the ACC Big Ten Challenge against Virginia Tech. Here is Iggy, wanted the jumper, gave it up instead, and Matthews for 2.
Well, that was nice by Matthews. You know what? Lamar Stevens, number 11 for Penn State, played great defense. Forced Matthews under the basket, but Matthews didn't force it. He just gathered, jumped up, put a little fade on it.
You mentioned Stevens. He is the alpha for this team, about 19 points a game for Penn State.
Yeah, he's terrific. And Josh Reeves, I think, is one of the best blender players in the country. You see Reeves, number 23. But Stevens is the guy, and Stevens disappointed earlier this year against Alabama. Alabama went on a 24-0 run. You would think Stevens would be able to stop that almost, by himself. But he's a terrific, terrific basketball player.
He's a junior out of the state of Pennsylvania. 5 to shoot for Penn State with Stevens. And boy, Michigan's always got somebody in your pocket this year, don't they?
And a guy coming. I mean, this is a team that has committed itself to defense, and the kid with the ball has been a big reason.
Xavier Simpson will get it back with 22 to shoot. Yeah, Michigan's not as good of a shooting team as is typical for John Beilein, but that defense has been lethal.
Defense has been great, and as I said, pretty good defense right there by Penn State. The kid, number 3, Xavier Simpson, has a captain, and he's led the whole thing.
Cross lane feed. Hara scores. John Hara, the sophomore, with the first bucket for Penn State.
Yeah, well, that was a really nice play. Teske went over to double, leaving Hara, and Xavier Simpson didn't recognize what was behind him. Great pass.
Hara had football scholarship offers to a number of FBS schools, including Baylor, as Michigan turns it over, and Penn State is wired early.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Josh Reeves got all over the basketball there. Penn State feels like they are as quick at every position, and they feel like they can get up into Michigan. You saw it the first play, even though Matthews scored. It's pretty good defense, and then you saw it right there forcing a turnover.
Well, the one thing you're pretty well guaranteed, at least in the morning shoot-around from Penn State and Pat Chambers, is energy.
Oh, man.
They turn up the bass in a shoot-around like nobody else in the country.
And they turn up, they put a sign up that says attitude, and they go fast. They don't go long, but they go fast. Well, the hook.
Simpson probing. Oh, my.
That's the 3rd hook he has hit this year. Reminiscent. Magic Johnson back in the playoffs in the Garden.
See, that wasn't a discount hook either. That was a real thing.
Right. That wasn't a jump hook. That was the sweeper.
Trent Buttrick, the sophomore, too strong.
Yeah, I'd like to see, if you're Michigan, you want to get out and run. You want to speed this up a little bit.
Charles Matthews sets an ill-advised pass into traffic.
And really good defense by Hara.
3rd turnover already for Michigan, which never turns the ball over under John Beilein.
No, and you know what? Michigan, when they play fast, occasionally their turnovers come from the top down. You've seen a couple of them already. There's a high ball screen, and then you'll see on the slip, occasionally there'll be a mistake.
Here's his hook shot, though.
Oh, man. Just a hook. You're right. To shoot a hook shot, you put it over your ear. That's an old school hook. That's over his ear, turning his head.
Last we saw that, there was no three-point line.
Last I saw was the great Uwe Blop at Indiana.
Your guy.
My guy. My roommate. Greatest hooker of all time, though. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Stop. Don't say nothing.
5 to shoot for Michigan. Iggy. No, sir.
I'm telling you, Penn State's just staying with their man and guarding and getting into him. Michigan can't get away yet.
Rasir Bolton, the freshman, who's their leading scorer in Big Ten play so far, gave that one up, and Penn State gets an offensive rebound with Mike Watkins, and he'll go to the free throw line. Pat Chambers, 8th season, 120 and 128, but he got him to an NIT championship last year, and an important run for them to get some experience for the young guys.
First time they've won over 20 games in Pat Chambers' era. Obviously, you know, you're in the Big Ten, you've been there 8 years, you need to make the NCAA tournament, but last year they felt like they took some steps. Beat Ohio State. It was 15-3 in the Big Ten. Beat Ohio State twice in the regular season and then beat them in the tournament in the Garden. Pretty good year, but you're at Penn State, you're at Michigan, whatever, in the Big Ten, you got to make the tournament.
The youngest of 12 kids in the Chambers family. Newtown Square.
You know, he got stabbed, cut his throat. That's when he decided he was on a gurney and decided he was going to become what he wanted to become, not what he thought he should be. He was working on Wall Street, he was working in the financial world, and made a decision that I want to coach. I'm going into coaching.
Where were you when you decided you wanted to coach? Blackjack table?
No, I'll tell you exactly. I was at Kentucky as a freshman reading an article in the men's room about Leonard Hamilton. True story.
That's when you decided you were
Yeah, I saw The Life of a Coach. I'm like, I like that.
How does Leonard feel about that you were inspired by him in the men's room?
I don't know.
4-3 Michigan, but America wins when Dan Dakich is here. The undefeated Wolverines trying to stay that way.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Ally Bank. Do it right.
Greenberg on your radio show today called the Big Ten the best conference in college basketball. Michigan unbeaten, Jason Benetti, Dan Dakich, and Michigan lost a lot and has stayed the course very well.
Yeah, they did. They lost a first-round pick in Mo Wagner, lost a late game guy. Mohamed Abdul-Rahman was fantastic. Duncan Robinson was good enough that he signed a two-way deal with the Miami Heat. A lot of people thought, you know what, last year was last year, going to struggle this year, but absolutely not. This has been fantastic so far.
13-0, 2-0 in the league, and they open Big Ten play in earnest today. It is a deep league this year, it seems.
It's a really deep league this year, and it's going to be interesting to what happens with teams like Iowa and Minnesota as we move forward.
Iowa Purdue tonight. Will pull up there, no good for Jordan Poole, who has been shooting the daylights out of the basketball.
34 of 68 from the three-point line. I'm no math major, but that's 50%.
You were so good at that on the fly, really. Bolton got it down deep, and a rebound for Austin Davis, who's been somewhat inconsistent. He's only played 53 minutes, but might be that extra guy in the rotation. Poole. Offensive rebound for Brazdeikis. Oh, it's an offensive foul called. Matthews got entangled down there, and he's whistled for the foul.
Well, I like what Bolton did. Bolton just fought Matthews. He's undersized, and Matthews wanted position, but Bolton kept his feet moving. You're going to see at the top of the screen, look, he keeps his feet moving. I don't know how you make the determination, but Bolton, by keeping his feet moving, deked the official a little bit right there.
Here is Bolton, the freshman, and he traveled.
Yeah, he sure did. He thought he was going to be able to turn the corner, and Michigan's guys were faking at him. And next thing you know, he had nowhere to go and dragged his foot.
How about Davis at 6'10", staying with him around the corner there?
You mentioned it. We were talking to Coach Beeline. You and I went in there before the game, and we asked him, okay, who's going to be number 8? Who's your 8th guy? You got 7, Livers and Brooks. Well, he thinks Davis, and it would be really important for Davis to get a little confident, maybe get a little bucket here.
Yeah, 15 points, 11 rebounds all year long in 13 games so far. Simpson got his own ball back, and the layup wouldn't fall.
Boy, great offense. Brooks made the right cut, didn't get it to go.
Pull up is good for Lamar Stevens, his first bucket.
Basketball's interesting. Stevens had Brooks on him, and he was so comfortable knowing that he could just take him any way he wanted to go and be not affected. No match was Brooks right there.
Brosdakis. Oh, he can do it all. Nifty.
Left-handed? No. Turns back. Right-handed. But you can't let him get in the lane, Jason. Cannot let Stevens, you cannot let Brosdakis operate in the lane. They're just too big, strong, and athletic.
He is Michigan's Mickey Mantle. Monday on ESPN, 8 o'clock Eastern, College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T from lovely Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. Alabama and Clemson, number 1, number 2. Also streaming live on the ESPN app. You can watch the MegaCast as well. Their 4th straight meeting in the college football playoff. And Tua and Trevor Lawrence, 2 guys that didn't have the starting job last year, will play quarterback in that game.
Who do you like?
I like Clemson.
I like Alabama.
You do?
Yep. I think that Alabama played well enough, obviously, to win, but bad enough that Nick Saban's got a lot to talk about because they were playing poorly by the end of that game.
Well, he's not going to text about it. We found out in Pete Thamel's story today. He's a phone call guy. He doesn't text recruits, Nick Saban. He's a throwback.
And whatever he does, everybody else should try because it works. Well, I love the way Penn State plays defense. They're keeping the ball on the side, downing the ball screen. Look at the hands involved in a steal. That was really good. If you don't let the ball cross the court, you shrink the court. And when you shrink the court, turnovers happen.
They've been in every game this year. They've played close with Alabama. A late run got NC State a victory against them, and Maryland and Indiana to start Big Ten play.
They're a little like Northwestern was until last night. Northwestern was 3 possessions away from having a great year, and then Michigan State just beat them all day.
I know Michigan fans don't really want to hear how great Michigan State is, but that was quite the effort last night. My goodness.
That was as good as I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, all year long. I mean, that was a beatdown of a good team. Not a great team, Northwestern, but a good team. Nowhere to go.
5 to shoot. Poole. Brosdakis, no sir.
No, and it wide open shot, right? You think, no, it was sped up because of the defense. The individual defense has been the story of this game by Penn State being able to guard their own man. That's travel.
Or an offensive foul. It's travel first.
Well, both teams, this might be first to 50.
Yeah, this is Cheez-It Bowl proportions.
Nothing is like the Cheez-It Bowl. Have we had 9 interceptions yet? No, that's just good defense. And you know what? You're not going to be able to put your head down and drive Xavier Simpson. You're just not. You have to move Xavier Simpson, and then Wheeler needs to try to drive him.
We have had 9 turnovers so far in this game. We do have 7 to 6 and about 7 and change. So,
have we had kicker roulette?
We have not.
Drop foot?
You never know. Thanks for celebrating the holidays with us.
Nice.
Brosdakis for 2 from Austin Davis.
Yeah, that was an extra pass, and eventually Dredd just got lost, number 2, staring at the basket. You cannot stare at the ball when you're playing Michigan. You got to have your head on a swivel. See both man and ball.
Bolton. Clang.
Thud.
Oof.
This going up.
Brooks wanted Poole to have it. Step back for Poole. He got it!
Oh, you can't guard it any better than Hara did.
Man. That's good stuff right there.
That was great. He was itchy, too, when he got it. He just looked at Hara and wanted it, gave it up, got it back.
Eli Brooks saw it in his eyes, too. He fed him real fast. Hara rolled it off.
Didn't get his head turned at the bucket. Was turning as he was shooting. Can't make it that way.
Simpson got turned around, and now they'll reset. Thought maybe that was one of those moments Michigan would decide to go.
Oh!
Oh, the drop off Davis, the hammer. Sleight of hand.
That will be on SportsCenter.
Doctor.
Hey, I don't know about you, but I don't clap very much at this table, but my goodness, is this a move? All right, first the step back jack, little James Harden, and then little Pistol Pete. No look on the floor. That will be on SportsCenter.
13-7, beautiful passing for Michigan.
Yeah, great play. Jordan Poole's kind of taking this over, but, you know, my man right there, Pat Chambers, not happy. You're going to see number 2 right here, Dredd. He's supposed to be in this gap. He's right there. He's supposed to be in the gap, but he's not, and he's not faking at the ball. It's called a fake trap, and Poole just abuses the entire state of Pennsylvania.
And then Pat Chambers lit into him. I mean, wow.
There'll be a 30 for 30 on that. Hey, you're supposed to be in the gap, be in the gap. I guarantee you next time he's in the gap.
He may not have an opportunity to be in the gap.
That's true. It's a good inbounds play, though, right there. A little screen up top. Got Stevens wide open shot, just couldn't knock it out.
Poole's got some extra gumption right now, huh? Xavier Simpson, junior guard, who's trying to up his offense this year. A little scoop for 2 more.
Wow, you thought he might be going for the hook. Instead, he went underneath. Xavier Simpson doesn't shoot the basketball, but he has the. But let me put it this way: he has the biggest impact of any kid playing college basketball without being a shooter.
Really?
Yes, he is. He defends. He leads. He's a captain, and it's one of the reasons Michigan's team is so good. He goes to the rim, plays with complete confidence, can guard almost any position, even though he's a little guy, and he takes charge.
That's a block called. Watkins gets 2 and a foul.
And that's a good call. That is really good call, actually. He was sliding into the arced area, and a really nice finish by Watkins. You'll see Simpson come over right here, and he's moving, and he's inside the arc.
Yeah, you got the heels on the circle. He and his dad, Quincy, who was his coach in high school, went basically back to 0 on his shot this offseason to try to get those numbers up.
Yeah, his dad's a terrific coach. Xavier, this 100 years ago, when he was a real little kid, used to come to my camp at Bowling Green. I mean, I don't know if he was 8 years old, 7 years old, whatever he was, and his dad was always with him, and they were always doing something with great energy and enthusiasm. Fantastic family.
Our officials are going to go to the monitor to have a discussion, maybe on whether or not. Well, we'll see what they tell us. During the break, by the way, they celebrated. They're checking to see if, in fact, that was a bucket.
There's a lot of things you can check on, but whether the ball goes in the basket should not be one of them.
That's what we were told.
No, that is what they were looking at.
It did. I was going to say, during the break, they celebrated some of our veterans here at Chrysler Center. Donnie Epley, who's officiating the game, a retired sergeant first class in the Army.
Now, Donnie Epley is one guy you would not mess with. He is the Ed Hockley of college sports, college basketball. History
says you did mess with Chris Beaver, who's also an official in this game. Foul call, they'll get 3 shots out of it. Remember a game in 2003 when Chris Beaver was officiating and you got in trouble with the MAC?
I got in trouble a few times.
Yeah.
You tell me where, did he say?
Oh, he didn't say. I just looked it up.
Oh. Could be a lot.
You have a great relationship now, though, I could tell. Poole's going to the free throw line.
He gave me his socks 2 years ago. I didn't bring any dark socks, and I was doing it on the court, and Chris was nice enough to give me his socks.
Is that true?
That is true. He went in the locker room, came back out with a pair of socks.
How about that? It's nice to see basketball bringing people together.
How good has this kid been this year?
Poole?
Unbelievable.
Unreal.
Is there a more confident kid anywhere? I mean, there are kids as confident, but my goodness, this kid, you know, he hit the big shot last year, but wow, is he taking off?
I mean, 50% through 68 threes to start the season. And 17 points per game in recent memory.
Well, he started up in it at 21 against Purdue here. And it was a game after they beat North Carolina when Brasdeikis was terrific with 24, but he's just taken off.
Watkins on Teskey. And Brasdeikis the rebound. A little high-low with Teskey. Oh, Matthews came soaring in and had it pried away. Michigan's playing with a lot of energy right now. Where does Penn State get its offense?
Well, right here if they can. And they don't have. They want to get the ball to Watkins. Watkins is a double-digit type scorer who's only averaging 6 this year. It's been a slow start for him. And they're trying, and they're getting the ball into a good spot except for that pass. So if it's not going to be Stevens, their thought is in this game, let's establish Watkins, and it hasn't worked.
Brasdeikis. Oh, and it blocked away by Watkins.
He's been great on the defensive end, a lot of different ways.
See if Stevens can get on track here against Eli Brooks. He stayed right with him.
Nice cut. Wow, what a cut. I mean, I just assumed that was going to be a basket. Oh.
It was Trent Buttrick.
Yeah, he made the right move. Stevens made a good looking pass and the ball went out of bounds.
Brasdeikis on the gas pedal, and we got to travel.
Michigan's guys think that they can drive the basketball, and they can't. I mean, he took off. He thought he had a drive, and next thing you know, the feet were moved by Buttrick, and Brasdeikis slipped, traveled.
It's back-to-back possessions. His drive has gotten thwarted by Penn State. A 6th turnover for Michigan.
Well, the first time he drove it, he kind of took his time. That time he said, to heck with it, I'm putting my head down, and Penn State can guard, really guard. See, they're trying to do that, and it's just not happening for them. Bolton has to be a guy that gets going here, and maybe Reeves as well.
Poole. Got it for 2. Tough shot.
Spread his legs just like he did against Houston for the winner to send him to the Sweet 16.
You think about that run from last year. That shot ends up propelling them to the national championship game. And you said it, what it does for his confidence.
Yeah, he's a confident kid. He was last year. But, you know, he had some guys, so he didn't get a chance to play that much. But now he feels like it's his deal to go.
Stevens had to get rid of it. Pull the hit ahead, and it's going to be a shot clock violation. There was no change of possession because it was a tip ahead. So this will be a turnover. Now they are going to talk it over. So we'll see what comes out of it after this.
Dallin in studio. Iowa-Purdue poignant moment before the game. Both teams paying tribute to Tyler Trent, the Purdue superfan who lost his brave battle with cancer on Tuesday. Dallin, how about Carson Edwards?
2 elite offensive teams here, but Edwards already has 9 points. If you can't slow him down, you can't win on the road.
Second in D1 in scoring, Jason.
Kevin, thank you very much. Big Ten in the AP poll to start the year. It was only 3 teams. Suddenly there are 7. But look, it's going to be Penn State ball here. Kevin Connors mentioned Tyler Trent and what's going through Purdue and the Big Ten right now, and how much we lost with that inspirational young man. You got to know him very well.
Yeah, I did. It's so sad. You know, we got the news New Year's Day of Tyler's passing, and amazing. A 20-year-old just standing in line waiting for tickets to our football game, actually, ends up inspiring an entire nation. And once again, I just thank his mother and father for raising such a great kid and for sharing that kid with us.
You hear about people changing the way they live their lives because that's the very definition of being inspirational.
Yeah, I mean, I did my radio show from his house, spent 3 hours sitting there with him, and I walked out of there thinking, man, I'd better do some thinking. That kid will continue to inspire as well. And you know, my prayers are with the family, mom and dad, you know, the whole family, grandma, everybody, just fantastic people.
Penn State is open 4 for 15, and that's not going to help. Michigan's defense comes up big. Brooks Brosdakis from the corner.
What great defense. I mean, what absolute great defense by Jones, number 0, sprinting down and affecting the shot. He could have jogged. Instead, he sprinted.
You talk about getting to the corner.
Oh, that was so good.
That jumper goes down for Bolton, his first bucket of the game, the freshman guard, who gets him about 14 per.
Yeah, and what Penn State learned in that possession, or they should have learned, is when they bring the ball down, I don't care if it's after a make or miss, don't set up. Keep the ball moving. Make Michigan's defense move. When they're set, when they're locked in, hard to score against.
Poole for Teske. And he couldn't finish.
Man, as hard as buckets are to come by, you miss a dunk. It's almost like you're guaranteed to score here if you're Penn State.
And it happened.
I'm telling you, it's automatic.
That basketball, once again, is a living, breathing organism for you, isn't it?
It is. Huggins talked about it the other day. Bob Huggins, the West Virginia coach, said sometimes it'll treat you like your girlfriend. Basketball is real. Has a brain, cells. Look at this. Look at Mike Watkins.
Just crowbarred it away from him and turned it into a poster.
Mike Watkins hasn't been able to make a shot. But, man, has he affected this game by defensively being in the right position and then right there getting out and making a steal. And you said posterizing Michigan.
We're back at 30. 6 in a row now for Penn State, and the capper from Watkins.
Watkins has been great. Yeah, Watkins has been underneath the bucket. Now watch here. He reaches in, and then he just beats Poole to the ball and goes ahead and flushes. But he has changed the game defensively. I don't know why they took him out. You know, coaches are interesting. Like, I played and coached with Bob Knight. He would never take you out if you made a good play.
Yeah.
You were not. If you got a bucket, you're staying in there. You know. It's just some coaches substitute different. Some coaches take you out at a certain time. Some coaches have a set deal.
Well, some coaches like to call timeouts during their own runs, like Pete Gillen. Remember that, right?
No.
They go on a 6-0 run. He called timeout.
Got tired of his own team being good?
Well, he just figured that it was going to come back. Turnover, Penn State.
You know, it's going to sound weird, but I don't mind that turnover. And I'll tell you why. They kept the ball moving. He just stepped out of bounds, Bolton did. And you got to be a little more aware than that. But they had just ran a little bit of baseline dribble action. It worked.
You look at this defense, 3rd best in the NCAA in scoring defense for Michigan, and that's not typically the way they have won under John Beilein. But credit to him for always evolving.
Luke Yaklich, the assistant coach that came over from Illinois State, working with a really good coach in Dan Muller, has been the guy right there standing up talking to was John Beilein's right there. Has really made a difference. Beilein has given him, he hired Yaklich because of the defensive mind that he has, and he has allowed Yaklich to do his job.
Sought him out based on the numbers that Illinois State put up that year. And a whistle against Michigan. And a foul. Saturday noon on ESPN2, the ESPN app, the FCS championship game. Number 3, Eastern Washington. The guys from Cheney against top-ranked and undefeated North Dakota State. Once again, the defending champs. They've won the title 6 of the last 7 years, and very soon they'll name the trophy after them.
You can't bet against North Dakota State.
No.
In any sport.
And Eastern Washington's got the only outlier there.
Doesn't Eastern Washington have like a green field or
they have a red field?
Red field, yeah.
The offensive coordinator for Cal, we were talking about the Cheez-It Bowl, he told us getting ready for that game that when the AD came to him, he was the head coach at the time at Eastern Washington, he said, "You're crazy. I'm not doing a red field." AD won that battle, and it's gotten him a lot of recognition. Hard drive and a harder block. Jones had it pushed aside by Poole. Eli Brooks playing significant minutes early in this game, and a foul called against Bolton.
Hey, Brooks has played well, but this kid's the man. Jordan Poole, he gets beat on this drive, and then he catches up with closing speed. Let's see how high he is above the rim. Pretty high.
Kev, Dallin, and Sean, or is it Trent and Johnny?
That's the big question.
Yeah.
Coming up on the Dodge halftime report, it'll all make sense. These guys will forecast the conference weather. They'll be standing in front of a green screen. It's partially raining buckets right now for Michigan.
Yeah, I know we talk about offense all the time. That's what's sexy, but really defense. These two teams compete so hard on the defensive side of the ball. It's really fun to watch.
You know what's fun to watch? Jason Benetti and Dan Dockich call a game.
Yeah.
That's fun to watch.
Yeah.
And listen to as well. Guys, back to you in Chrysler Arena.
I would argue that listen to is more fun than watch. Farnham, thank you. Kevin, thank you. Dallin didn't say anything nice about us, so forget him.
No, heck with him.
The defense has won the day so far here at Chrysler Center.
But they were right in the halftime. The guys back in the studio. These two teams compete like crazy. I tell you, the book is out on him. Go under every screen, back off everything. Western Michigan literally sat in the lane against them. Northwestern, Coach Beal had to take him out at the end of the game because they were just daring him to shoot, him being Xavier Simpson. He couldn't make it.
You good with that shot there?
Yeah, you got to.
Stevens goes bowling a China shot for 2.
Well, he knocked Izzy down and got the ball up too quick for Teskey. That's a great move, and I would go back to that until Michigan proves they can stop it.
Brozdakis. Stevens stayed right with him.
Third time. Oh.
He took it back. Oh, the defense again from Watkins.
Ego got in Iggy's way there. He got beat, got knocked down. Ego took the shot. Then Ego took the shot when he got the ball back. Ego doesn't overcome Mike Watkins' length. 90 blocks as a freshman a couple years ago.
Now suddenly this is a 2-point game. Undefeated Michigan in a little more trouble as Brooks is on his way to the rim for the flush. So much for that. Jones better be careful. He's going to get his pocket picked again.
And Penn State better be careful. It's a huge 2 minutes. People talk about the first 5 of the second half. Last 2 of the first half, huge. Got to throw it in. Got to give him the ball.
Stevens on Brozdakis.
Settled. Didn't need to. Needed to create from the mid-post, kind of Bonzi Wells area.
Teskey. Why not?
I'll tell you why not, because he's 3 for 15. They want him to shoot it. They've said he will be taken out if he doesn't shoot that shot.
Because he can do that.
3 for 15, 4 for 16.
Bullseye City.
I like when guys dunk and they get happy about it. Like, he was really excited to get a dunk right there. And then, little guys dunking, big guys drilling threes. It's George Costanza. It's opposite day.
You should have gone with Jerk Store. 25-18 Michigan. Saturday, 8 Eastern on ESPN. Zion Williamson, all those freshmen for Duke against Clemson at Cameron Indoor. Conference play begins in the ACC. Clemson last beat Duke in Durham 24 years ago.
They're due.
They're due against Carolina. They're due against Duke.
They're due. Brad Vernell's a really good coach. Has a terrific assistant now, Marty Simmons. But this dude is, hey, great that you have an assistant. Great that you're a good coach. I'd rather have that.
The guy, like, you put him even 20 years ago, people think he's an alien. That size.
Yeah, it's. I looked up back in the day. A lot of older fans will remember there were enforcers in the NBA. Maurice Lucas, enforcer. You know what he was? 6'8", 215. This guy's 6'7", 285.
It's outrageous. The
Crazy.
Like you gotta watch him if you haven't seen it.
You're going to see something incredible. I'm not saying he's going to be the greatest. He can make all the shots, but you're going to see. Oh, here we go.
Teskey, second one.
No. That time Watkins got out and affected the shot. He didn't have time, Teskey, to load it up.
John Beilein said he's a 50% shooter in practice, so there's your 50%. He's 1 for 2.
Yeah, a lot of 3 o'clock hitters in baseball. Games at 6.
Watkins on Teskey. In the lane, scores.
That was the toughest shot Watkins has had.
And he made it.
Yes. You know why he made it? Because he didn't think. He did not think. He dribbled it, fumbled it. Oh, my God, I'm in the lane 3 seconds. I better shoot it. Made it.
8 for Watkins tonight. Team high for Penn State. Shot clock is off. 10 seconds to go, first half. And they'll give the foul, Jamari Wheeler. You're not going to see a whole lot of whistles in a Michigan game.
No, if you have to travel, Michigan's the game to do. Michigan, Wisconsin take about, I don't know, 50 minutes.
You're saying you can book your flight for about 2 hours after tip?
Normal basketball game lasts 2 hours. Not Michigan, not Wisconsin, not Virginia. Got another one to give here.
When do you give it?
After 2 dribbles. You try to keep the ball going sideways, left or right. Like you don't let Poole get it back. And if you foul there, you foul there.
So now Poole with 4. And they do give the foul before the shot. They're going to wave that off, and that's the right call.
And that worked out absolutely perfectly for Michigan. They used time out on the floor and then fouled just a split second before the shot.
You know, that is 2 on Wheeler, though. He picked up the last 2, so that's where it does ding you a little bit.
But that's not a big concern. You got to be able to play a half with 3 fouls. Well, lob coming.
Teske wanted it, and he got walled off.
It was a good inbounds play. They did. They set a little inside screen, hoping to throw it up to Teske, and you said it. Really good defense by Penn State.
So Penn State's going to bring Watkins in to help on that possibility.
No, if they're smart, they're going to bring Watkins in to take away the middle. See where Watkins 24 is? He needs to take away the basket here.
Yeah, he's on the inbounder. And Brooks has to go to midcourt. Eli Brooks. Ooh, just missed. Points are at a premium tonight at Chrysler Center.
Yeah, both teams, as the guys in the studio said, they are not only playing defense, they are competing defensively. Both teams, good game.
25-20, unbeaten #2 Michigan. Sean Farnham, Dallin Cup, Kevin Connors in the studio. Take it away, Kevin.
All right, Jason.
Will there still be 4 unbeatens left after tonight's action? Michigan is one of them. The Wolverines up by 5 at halftime. Jason Benetti, Dan Doggett with you. And this has been a rugged night so far for the Wolverines.
Yeah, it's been, both teams are guarding like crazy. This is a throwback to like Dick Bennett and Wisconsin back in the day. I mean, first one to 50 maybe wins this. But I'll tell you what, there's been some unbelievable plays in this game and something to watch in the second half. Bolton has to get going if Penn State's going to have a chance. He along with Stevens, not much yet.
Yeah, Rasheer Bolton with just 4 for Penn State. Brazdeikis with only 4, one of his quietest nights so far.
They've done a great job on him. He has put his head down and dribbled the ball into bad spots. They've taken away his jump shot. This is a heck of a defensive match. Both teams, I mean, there's been some great plays, right?
Yeah.
But no flow.
We have yet to see any flow tonight. Bolton the lob. Downstairs for 2. Josh Reeves with his first bucket. He had 2 fouls in the first half.
You know what happened? Reeves came off a high ball screen, and Poole kind of jogged along with him. And Reeves went and sprinted and was too fast. Teske couldn't get there either. Got to go here.
Mismatch. Teske over Hara.
Really smart by Xavier Simpson. Really smart. Xavier Simpson was going to keep driving. Instead, he backed it out, spun around, and found Teske. If you want to know if Teske's locked in, watch his mouth. See if he's talking.
And if he is?
And then he's playing hard. Then he's playing well. If he's not talking, if he's quiet, he's no good.
Simpson the rebound. And he finds his way out of traffic. John Beilein told us that they're just trying to get him a little bit more interested and yelling for the ball.
Yeah, yelling for the ball and talking defensively. It used to be the point guard was kind of the dictator on defense. Now it's really the big guy. Big guy has to play the post, come out and play the high post, play a pick guy, a ball handler, play the roll guy. And when Teske's talking, he's really good. When he's quiet, he's not.
How do you draw that out of somebody as a coach?
You shouldn't have to. You know what you should be able to do?
Yeah, but you
I'll tell you
do sometimes.
Well, you show him and you harp on it. You get what you demand, right? I mean, in education, it's what you do. If you demand, eventually you're going to get it. It's a process. But the truth of the matter is, players should understand it after being told twice. Once, man, okay. But if John Beilein tells you something about your basketball game, your head should go up and down, and you should do it. There's Teskey was. He's played great this half.
Iggy takes it to Kill City for 2 and a foul.
Teskey made the steal. Watch Teskey put his hands in here. He gets right there. He digs it out, and then Iggy pops to the rim. I apologize to America, but I had to do it. Chin on the rim. Look at right there. He had his chin up on the rim.
Well, you have such a lust for life that it just comes out.
Okay. Hey, look. The second half thus far, 1 minute 14 seconds has been decided not by this guy, although this is a three-point play, but by Teskey. Both ends.
Wasn't it interesting what John Beilein told us? You know, at first we think he's just a shooter. And then we think he's just a driver. Like, we're going to give him the ball and he's going to commit an offensive foul. And now suddenly, not long with this team, he's both.
Well, you're supposed to develop. And when you have both of them, let's see. Wow.
Wow, nicely done by Watkins.
He shot it around. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Teskey moved with him, and from our angle, you can see Teskey's hands were on a direct line, but Watkins shot it to the right of the hands of Teskey.
That's length, right?
That's a heck of, yeah. Gonna shoot it?
Yes, he is. Nice box out there by Stevens.
Really good, because Matthews went hard to the glass. I look for this kid to get it going a little bit if he can.
Bolton intercepted. Poole's up ahead. Poole finishes.
Great catch by Poole. Iggy threw it a little bit behind him. That was not nearly as easy as it looked. Poole caught it squared and got a tough little pull up to go.
How about his improvement? And he had a good freshman season. Now he's one of those key cogs on this offense.
Defensively, not bad either here.
Poole step through, got fouled.
Some guys are just ballers. Like, they just can play basketball. Other guys make basketball look hard, like a chore. Jordan Poole makes basketball easy. I mean, easy. Both ends. Just gets a hand on it here. Looks like he's gliding over to get it, and then kind of dekes right here. Slows down. Oops. Nope. I'm going.
I'm glad you said that about gliding over to get the ball, because there are some players who would have panicked that thing was going out of bounds. He knows the spin of the ball intricately enough that he knew he could wait, Dan.
You know, I guarantee you this. I guarantee you that he played so much basketball without a coach or without a ref or without a scoreboard, just playing. You know, where out of bounds is the grass or out of bounds is the street or out of bounds, you know, where you just got to know. There's such a difference in guys that just play as opposed to guys that are manufactured by a trainer. I guarantee you, he played everywhere, anywhere, anytime, Jordan Poole.
From Milwaukee. And that foul called from the near side. 2 free throws coming for Penn State. It's on Teskey. It's his second.
If that's a foul, then that's got to be 2 shots.
Yeah, how is that not a shooting foul?
Honest to goodness. Hey, you see up top right, Kentucky's getting better, people.
Now the crowd saw a replay, doesn't like that it was a foul. Penn State doesn't like it wasn't a shooting foul. Nobody's happy.
The rare foul where everybody's mad.
Brosdakis for Simpson. Michigan unbeaten. Simpson. Oh, that is a tough angle. Iggy corralled it and finished.
You know what he did? Things good players do. Caught it in a bad spot, took it out, looked before he made any type of move. His head turned, he looked, realized, all right, I can shoot it. Instead of turning and shooting it, look, gather, look, shoot. Huge in basketball.
They got a couple prodigies on this Michigan team.
Got guys that know how to ball. I mean, look, this is a heck of a pass. Look, he catches it, takes it up. Doesn't know he has a shot, but he turned, looked, realized, knocked it in.
Tell you what, if you're a 3 o'clock hitter on UFC time, you're going to have some big trouble.
You better show when the lights come on.
Yeah, that's going to hurt. UFC coming this month, just in a couple weeks. Thousands of live events on ESPN Plus. You can see it anywhere.
I can't wait. I love the UFC. I've been Cyborg. I love it.
You love it.
Love it.
Favorite sport?
No, college football.
Then what?
Baseball.
Then?
Well, this.
Okay. The thing that you cover for a living and you used to coach?
I'll tell you what, UFC is, I love it. I think it's fun. I'm so glad ESPN has it. I should be doing some of them.
That would be fun. Iggy couldn't take it away from Stevens. Simpson the recovery and the help in the corner.
Boy, you got to make those. When you get a decent look, you just have to knock them down on the road against Michigan. You don't get many.
But Simpson was in his face now.
He was, but you know what? It was a easy, well, let me put it this way. It was a in-rhythm jump shot.
Undefeated Michigan up by 12. Largest lead of the game, trying to build on it, and Watkins corrals the rebound.
Isn't Watkins impressive?
He is.
He can switch to anybody, keep him in front, affect the shot.
Stevens undeterred, and Watkins fouled. What do you think of that one?
I think that's a good call. I think Watkins went to tip dunk this and got hit on the arm. There's no difference in shooting a jump shot and getting hit and a tip dunk and getting hit.
Buckets anywhere here at Chrysler Center. On the concourse, put on a jersey, pop a shot. Tough to find hoops so far in this game. And Mike Watkins hit as he was going to the bucket.
How's the Cassie Bill? Cassie Russell, one of the all-timers. I love the fact that they called this the house to Cassie Bill.
I do too.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I can't believe you guys touted me. I mean, look, Watkins
I just
comes
asked you if it was a foul.
Yeah.
You know, Elvis played here.
How many did he get?
How many people?
How many
I have
points?
to imagine it was no. He had a concert.
Elvis
Presley. Yeah, Elvis Gerback did too. Thank you for that. Watkins to the free throw line. And he missed the first.
Boy, the ball did not roll out of his hand. It shot out of the right side of his hand. He's got too good a touch to shoot that poorly.
What do you want to see?
I want to see the ball roll off his middle finger and his index finger and his ring finger. The big three, it's called in shooting. We'll see if it rolls. That's better.
And
That's
got
much
the job
better.
done.
He had a little bit of lift on that as opposed to a line drive that came off right. When it goes off your pinky, you're in trouble. Good move here going zone. I think Michigan got a little comfortable offensively. Just went to a little bit of a zone to slow him up a little bit.
Matthews to the rim.
Haven't seen him. Penn State was confused defensively. They were not aggressive because a couple guys were not sure whether they were man or zone.
That'll get you a bucket if you're Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
The half man, half zone.
Oh, yeah.
Simpson's everywhere.
Boy, what great help from Matthews coming off of the baseline man.
Simpson.
That's a bad shot.
Poole was yelling for it on the skip.
Yeah, that's a bad shot. I mean, if he was going to shoot it or take it to the rim. Other than that, you're the captain, set it up.
How does Penn State find points here?
Boy, look at the middle of the floor. Nothing's there and nobody's moving. So they're going to try to play a little two-man game here, and I don't like it.
Went away from Watkins after his screen.
Look, it's just man against man and nobody moving the defense, and Poole is in the gap. Should come over.
Stevens with 5 to shoot. Missed it, and Wheeler couldn't corral it. Here comes Michigan. Simpson cleaving the lane to find Poole, who missed the jumper. And a foul against Penn State.
Back to Penn State. This is exactly the offense they ran in a 24-0 run against them by Alabama. They stood around. They didn't have anybody in the post or the mid-post, and they waited for the next guy to make a shot. They're going to get them blown out here. They stay with that offense.
Why does that happen to Penn State?
That's a great question, and I really believe they don't. Look, when you, I'll tell you exactly why. Because there's one guy that's confident offensively. and that's Stevens. Everybody else has to have somebody do something for them, and they just stand when they get up tight. Like, he won't stand. I would assume he's going to take this to the rim if he can.
Watkins against Teskey. Watkins with confidence.
See, you had a guy in the post. You had a ball screen. You drove the ball to the middle, and you threw the ball in the post instead of standing out wide. Tough shot. Watkins good enough to make it.
13 and 7 tonight for Mike Watkins, the redshirt junior.
And you know what? That doesn't even count as defense. He's been terrific. He's terrific right there.
Matthews didn't get the roll. They're turning Michigan into a jump shooting team right now. Usually not a great idea this season. It might be different.
Bad shot.
Yeah.
And then he didn't get back. They didn't throw it.
Iggy down the boulevard. Second chance for Matthews at Michigan.
Mike Watkins is gassed.
You almost have to have him out there, though, don't you?
Well, they're not gonna. They're gonna substitute for him, but you cannot substitute long. You got to get him through the 12 minutes and get him back. See here, good move. They said a little two-man, little bumper mover kind of thing, but now let's see if they continue to move.
Miles Dredd, the freshman, 4 to shoot. Turnaround.
They stopped moving.
Yeah.
They just stopped moving. They ran a little offense. Watkins took the play off because he was tired. There is no being tired during the game. There is being tired after the game.
Sports Center tonight, 1 a.m. Eastern. Rockets and Warriors reaction. Lamar Jackson has turned in quite the season in back of Joe Flacco and the Eagles-Bears Fog Bowl in the SVP vault.
I remember that one.
You do?
Oh, yeah. I remember the initial Fog Bowl. You literally could not see anything on television. Here's a layup.
Teskey stuffs it.
Just a little up screen. Just a little bitty up screen, and Harrah got caught on it. Nobody helped. I don't get being tired. I just don't.
You don't get being tired?
I don't. I do not get being tired when you're out here playing. You can be tired tomorrow. You can be tired on the bus. You can't be tired in the middle of a possession.
Stevens, my goodness.
Same thing, little up screen. No help from the screener, and Stevens dunked it with his ear.
How about that verticality?
That's why I say he needs to go to war on the block. Like, I'm not talking about get yourself pushed out to the mid post. War on the block. He's a big, strong kid. Telling you.
We did it in the first half right over here.
Yeah.
Simpson cans a 3.
That's big because they had made the decision, Penn State, that they were going to get into the lane off Simpson. He made him pay.
If he puts that on tape, that changes Michigan, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know that he can yet. I mean, that would be the biggest improvement Michigan can make. If Michigan could get Teskey to become a 35 to 40% three-point shooter and Simpson the same, this team's a national champion. Let me put it this way. This team is in the conversation with 3 or 4 other teams as a national champion.
Still could be without that stuff,
yeah,
though,
no
right?
question. They're as good as anybody right now. Oh, boy.
Brosdakis ramming to the rim.
Brosdakis did what we just talked about Stevens doing, and that is muscle your way, bogart your way, power your way, whatever words you want to do or use to the rim.
I like yours.
Bogart right in there, man. Just play through contact because you're just too strong, and he's going to let everybody know what. Contact right there didn't matter. Too strong, and he lets you know.
Clemson and Alabama once again meeting for a championship.
Ngabaloa looking deep in the end zone.
Lawrence lofts it up.
Touchdown! The national championship, Monday on ESPN.
Do you understand the people who say, I don't want to watch Alabama and Clemson again? They're the 2 best teams in college football. I love when they play.
I love when they play. I just wish other teams in the country could get to their level.
I agree.
Like, if you expand the playoffs, who are you expanding it to? Georgia gets beat.
Yeah, but teams that finish 5 generally don't win their bowl game. There's a psychological deal there.
No, you're right.
Iggy knocks down the free throw. By the way, Isaiah Livers has not played tonight. He's dealing with some back spasms, so doubtful to go this evening for Michigan. 2 in double figures tonight for Michigan, and Watkins continues his assault.
I'm telling you, Watkins being out there is great. And he sat down, And I don't look. Let me clarify something. I don't mind the guy being tired during the game. Okay, fine. That's what happens. I get it. But you can't take a play off because you're tired. Is my point.
Right.
That's my point. You just can't. You got to fight through it. And the next thing you know, you'll be fine. You come out of the game and everything's good. I'd go right back to Watkins right now. They seem comfortable there.
Here's Bolton. And it pried away. He's got 6 tonight. Matthews fills the lane. Oh, mercy. Wow. We've had some high wire stuff tonight.
There were 2 guys set to take a charge. He made 2 guys disappear. A lot of people would like to make us 2 guys disappear.
Well, look, it's a
look at this. Look at this.
Pull down to the deck.
You can't make that. Oh.
Yes, he can. Take that.
He picked it up off the ground and said to heck with it and banked it in.
Miles Dredd, whose name signals what Pat Chambers had when the ball came out of his hand, makes it a 14-point game.
Wow. Wow.
Sometimes he's just unstoppable.
You know what he does? The second half, he's taking advantage of angles, meaning the defender has had to move and then come to him on an angle, and he has put his shoulder down. For kids out there, if you want to watch how to drive the basketball and you've got a little bit of size to you, look how low Iggy gets when he drives. He really pounds the ball low.
Why does that matter?
Well, it matters because, number one, it makes you quicker. And number 2, it makes you stronger when you get contact around the rim. He really does a good job. He gets low right there. You can hardly see it. And then he's able to bust up. You know, when he drives and gets fouled, the ball gets over the front of the rim, which is not a lot of guys can't get through contact and get the ball over the front of the rim. He can, again, because he gets so low.
Born in Lithuania, comes to Michigan from Ontario. John Beilein saw him for the first time as a sophomore through Nick Stauskas. Oh, Iggy pushes it right back. Stevens and a foul call. It's on Austin Davis.
Staff of Penn State did not want the foul called. The fans were mad the foul was called, but they knew that Stevens was in a pretty good spot against Austin Davis.
That's twice tonight. Both fan bases or benches have not liked the foul.
See, now I think you just back him down.
Stevens kicks it out.
Man, I'll tell you what Michigan
recovery.
doubled the. Yes, exactly right. What recovery is right. Really good move, but they doubled the post. 2 guys looked like they were going to be open, Jason.
That ball that ended up with Jones should have been a 3.
Yes.
Right?
Against 90% of the other teams in the country. Maybe more.
Brosdakis left-handed this time, and Davis got knocked out of the rebounding action.
And that time he drove a squared-up guy, and he couldn't get by him.
Well, Stevens had a notion there. He decided against it. Penn State at 7-6, trying to avoid an 0-3 start in conference play, and Stevens gets 2 and a foul.
That's what I'm talking about with Stevens. The same thing Iggy's doing on one end, get low, get strong, is exactly what Stevens should do here. He gets the ball, and he doesn't give it up. He just gets low, strong, pushes him out of the way, gets low, plays through 2 guys' contact. I'm telling you, this kid needs to play this way the entire rest of the way, and Penn State will find offense and make this a game.
Look, it's an 11-point game right now. They've scored the last 8.
Saturday, Kentucky, you see it top left. I'm telling you, did the Louisville game. Kentucky's getting better. I mean, better and better and better. I talked to Cal on Sunday, and he was really excited about the performance, particularly in the second half on the road in a hostile environment at the Yum Center in Louisville.
How hostile was it that day?
It was hostile, but it was almost like Louisville knew what was coming. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we want to get excited. We want to be angry. We want to have angst, but you're going to kill us.
We saw one of their best nights, maybe that's going to happen this year against Michigan State.
Don't you think? Yeah, they were terrific.
10-point game, about 8 to play for number 2 Michigan, and Poole traveled.
I thought they were going to call it. John Beilein wants a block, and I think he's right. I think the travel happened after the bump where then Poole slipped. Hands on him. There's contact. John Beilein's right.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
I think maybe legal guarding position. You can slide.
Sure.
You can move your feet.
Yeah, I mean, look, but it wasn't a travel.
No, I agree.
It was a foul on one or the other.
Yeah. Foul, no foul, but no
But
travel.
you know what it was? It was a travel because they blew the whistle and called travel.
And that's all that matters.
Now I'm going to the rim.
Stevens tries to, and does.
They put a bigger guy, and you see Matthews is hurting. You see him underneath the basket kind of walking around. He got berated, bruised, battered, beaten by Stevens, and that's how Lamar Stevens has to play.
So it's a 10-0 run for Penn State. 7:36 to go. It's an 8-point game.
Kevin Connors in studio updating you on Illinois and Indiana. How about Juwan Morgan? They haven't seen this kind of effort in Bloomington since the days of Dan Dockett. Third effort to put it back up and in. 16-6 run to start the second half. Indiana on top. UConn Baylor coming your way top of the hour. Lady Bears' lone loss came in Palo Alto. The Huskies are unbeaten. Jason, 2 of the top 10 scoring teams in the nation.
Should be a great game. Last I saw Dan Dockett give a third effort, it was at a post-game plate of nachos. Here are your top 5 point guards, I should say.
Yeah, there's some good point guards in this league. Cassius Winston was my preseason player of the year, and he hadn't done anything to dispel that double-double last night. Xavier Simpson, who has really played Cassius Winston really well. Nice inbounds, went to the post. Carson Edwards has 21, and I love the last two. I think Cowan is really good, and Bohannon has been solid, although Bohannon's Iowa team getting crushed.
Oh, man.
Crushed at Purdue.
Nearly 30-point game. That broke a 7-0 run for Penn State in a $118 to make this a game again.
I don't know why you wouldn't give the ball to Stevens.
Yeah, he's over on the other side. Watkins, this side. Turns around and scores.
That's why you don't give the ball to Stevens. A heck of a move by Watkins. Watkins has 3 baskets direct one-on-one against Big John Teskey, and not many guys do that.
He's got a couple moves down there in the post.
Yeah, really good. Really good.
Poole off the Teskey screen. Got the jumper. Silk.
It's amazing how when guys cut hard and dribble hard, the ball goes in. He sprinted off the screen, got it, busted it to his left. Watkins had good defense on him. I'm telling you, when you go hard, good things happen.
Best guy you ever saw at that?
Steve Alford and Calbert Cheney. I've never seen 2 guys better at sprinting on a cut and the next thing you know, lifting up. Calbert Cheney was ridiculous with that.
Fouls on Simpson. Team 6th. Look, Michigan hasn't exactly put together artistic performances at the end of the non-conference against Binghamton and Air Force.
Now, our Western Michigan, Steve Hawkins, the head coach at Western Michigan, is one of the great coaches that nobody knows in the country. And no, they have not been nearly as good against those teams as they were against North Carolina. Now they're going Penn State.
Stevens and Watkins doing it.
Yeah, they are. And Watkins Stevens in the lane when he just, again, Bogarts is really, really hard to stop. He's big and he's really strong. I feel like Michigan needs a 3 to get this thing going a little bit for him.
Matthews thought about it. He pulls the trigger and got it.
Yeah, you feel it. Now look, listen to the crowd now. Let's see.
It's more like
non-student crowd.
May's frustration than May's rage right now.
See, putting Watkins up there doesn't do any good. He's got to go do something. There you go. Set a ball screen, get to the rim.
Bolton with 6. There's the travel. He tested it for a while, and it finally gets called.
He traveled going to his right. He pivoted back to his left. This is big. Tested the waters of the NBA. They told him he's got to shoot the basketball better. Hasn't had a great shooting year. But there, you know what he did? You know, big guys out there, and they get a hand up late. It's like the end of a gun. It's like the sight on a gun. It helps you locate the rim and gives you a little bit of depth perception when they get out there late on you.
Poole showing the wear and tear with his jersey untucked. Simpson, 9 to shoot. Matthews bumping and sneaking by.
Oh, is that nice? Matthews did exactly what we've been talking about for Stevens and for Iggy. He bogarted his way down, took his time, showed the ball, laid it in.
Out of St. Rita in Chicago, Charles Matthews, very athletic family. Poole the help side.
Big time double.
Dread the miss. Nobody on the weak side, and 2 for Reeves.
That's where the double hurts you. Michigan came at the ball, didn't rotate back to Reeves. Reeves just sprinted to the rim.
That's one of the few instances tonight the rotation didn't come back for Michigan.
No, you're
absolutely,
absolutely right. Maybe the only time.
Teske.
Nope, came off his hand wrong.
Stevens the save. We're under 4. Penn State has turned it over 17 times, but still in striking distance.
Nice pass.
Stevens catch and shoot. No.
Well, I'd find Poole here if I could.
Iggy. Ball found him. He couldn't corral it. Bolton pull up.
Oh, jeez.
That is not a great idea.
Wow, what a play by Matthews, digging it out between 2 guys. There were 2 guys there, one big, one athletic, and he went and just ripped it out of there.
That is gritty stuff for Matthews.
Matthews been good here last couple minutes. Big difference in this game.
The story goes he was named after Charles Barkley.
Good.
Charles Matthews. Step back. Left it short. And it's out of bounds on Stevens.
I thought Matthews should have kept going to the rim. He chose to step back. Jason, he's been good. He's been really good here late, no?
Oh, yeah.
Hail to the victors. Hail to Charles Matthews.
Best fight song in basketball?
Yeah, I'm a little biased to Indiana, but I think it's a good one. Show the ball. Show it. Ooh.
That's a massive undersell by
How's
you.
your father?
Hey, a reminder at the top of the hour, you'll see Katie Lou Samuelson, preseason AP All-American, averaging better than 20 points per game. The latest great player to come through UConn. #1 Huskies take on #8 Baylor after we wrap things up in Ann Arbor. Jason.
That's coming soon here. 2:56 to go in this one. UConn and Baylor, 2 of the powerhouses in women's basketball. 8 Final Fours the last 8 years for Connecticut, and good for the game to see those teams play. Those UConn-Tennessee games back in the day, Gino and Pat Summitt were awesome. UConn and Baylor coming up on ESPN.
Brittany Griner against Rebecca Lobo. Let's do it. Oh, no way.
Believe they are out of eligibility.
Oh. Love watching UConn women play.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, people talk about Gino Auriemma. Gino Auriemma could coach men, women, NBA. It doesn't matter. He can coach anything.
Kevin Freeman on the sideline here with Penn State and Pat Chambers, former Connecticut Husky, played for Jim Calhoun.
He's a good player, really good player.
Double coming on Matthews, and it creates the turnover. Reeves the interception.
Oh, good run.
And a meeting at the rim. Stevens wins it.
Wow. Did Stevens sprint? You talked about earlier the lift that Stevens had on the dunk. Watch the lift on this through contact, man. He hangs in there, keeps his chin on the rim, and then flexes for all to see.
You win a collision like that, you get to flex.
You know, and Teske didn't do a bad job. Teske got to the rim, but you know what? Stevens competed. Everybody else ran down the floor. Stevens competed hard to get down the floor.
missed the free throw. 9-point game. Penn State trying to avoid an 0-3 start in Big Ten play. Michigan, its best start since the runner-up season in 2013.
Yeah, Michigan's up 9. There's no hurry here. You got to get this under 2 minutes and then go.
Simpson to the corner. Iggy, bring it up.
Boy, was that a great look by Simpson. That was fantastic.
Reeves, no. Couple of wild threes from Penn State in the second half. And Poole wisely slows it down. He got popped.
Got hit hard. John Beilein screaming. Slow it down. Look at her drill.
Take a look at our assist to the game. What do you say?
I like the behind the back by Poole.
It's brought to you by State Farm. Let's see what it is. Hey, look at that.
Oh, a little Pete Maravich for you. You don't remember Pete Maravich?
I've seen him.
You want to see great videos? Pete Maravich videos are the most incredible ball handling videos. If you have a kid out there, get the Pete Maravich ball handling videos. They're unbelievable.
You have the VHS?
I had Betamax for a while, and we went to VHS. And
you got those laser discs now, or what?
I don't know. Blu-ray.
Poole 2 for 2.
We might have to think about a 3 here and to time out to get organized, but well, that's silly.
And a foul against Michigan. The rare bonus visit in this game. Saturday, 8 Eastern, ESPN. All those freshmen, including Zion Williamson and Duke, the #1 Blue Devils against Clemson at Cameron Indoor. Stream it live from anywhere on the ESPN app. Duke is #1 in the country, though they did lose in Maui to Gonzaga. You buy Duke as #1?
I buy Michigan as #1 based on resume. I think Duke's the most talented team in the country, and this kid here is the most talented player in the country. But I think resume-wise, you look at what Michigan's been able to do. They have crushed people.
They beat Villanova. They beat Carolina. They've got the win against Purdue, among others.
Well, you beat Villanova by 27,
yeah.
Providence by 19, Purdue by 19, South Carolina by 11. I think they're not as good as they were early in the year, but they will be.
Why? What's different?
And they don't shoot it as well, and they don't seem, as John Beilein told us, earlier, they're just not as together. There's some holes here, and one of them is shooting, and one of them has been a little bit of a turnover issue.
Teskey, little hook pass, and Matthews got hit in the arm. So Duke #1, Tennessee #3, Virginia at #4, Nevada 6, Houston still undefeated as well.
Well, based on how you're playing, I would put Michigan State, man, I'd put them right up on top with anybody. I think they're playing so well. Last night they just, blew out a Northwestern team that had played really well during the course of this season so far.
Some of the best passing you'll see in college basketball.
So fast.
That Virginia Tech team that's #10 in the country, by the way, their only loss was to Penn State, which played a pretty tough schedule in the non-conference.
There's two teams that I watch and I say they're good, but I don't think they're among the top 5. One of them was Virginia, and I know I'm wrong about that. I know when you play Virginia and you lose, everybody says, God, we could have won. We should have done, coulda, woulda, shoulda. But from a talent standpoint, I'm not sure between Kansas with Azubuike back, Duke, these guys, there's a big difference.
Is this
Gonzaga.
the year the field wins the Big 12?
No. No.
Seth Greenberg paid me off to ask you that. Watkins stole the rebound and stuffs it home. Penn State still alive in an 11-point game with 55 seconds to go.
If I'm Pat Chambers here, at 11 points, 55 seconds seems crazy, but I'm not so sure. I'm not going to foul some guys. Like if Simpson touches it, I'm going to make him make some free throws. If Matthews touches it, I'm going to make him make some free throws very quickly here. And then if they start making them and it gets bad, then fine. But I'm making them at least for the next 10, 15 seconds.
Michigan's been a bad free throw shooting team. 65% for the year. That's 293rd in the country. Some Big Ten storylines from early on this season. 7 teams ranked.
I think Indiana will be in the top 10 at some point this year.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Both Michigan schools, we'll see them at the end of the year. Michigan State, and the ACC Big Ten Challenge was pretty good. Penn State got something that could build their resume if they do turn it on.
Well, they've got a long way to go. They'll be 7-7 after this. Long way.
Nebraska may fall out of the top 25. Iowa could as well.
I would imagine both would. You know, Wisconsin went on the road because of a football deal and lost at Western Kentucky. There's never a reason for a Big Ten team ever to go to Bowling Green, Kentucky. That is so hard to play, and Rick Stansbury is so good.
Michigan, number 2 in the country, 13-0. They'll play Indiana on Sunday. Then on the road at Illinois, Northwestern coming up, then at Wisconsin. We'll see that game in a couple of weeks.
No, it's this weekend's interesting. Michigan State. See, I'm not following him, but I am following him right now. There you go. Make him make. Now, if they start making, if you can even go 2 for 1, meaning he misses one and you get 2 down here, you feel like you still have a chance. But you cannot, if you're Penn State, just jack up a 3 hoping to catch lightning in a bottle. You got to just take it down, take it to the bucket, go lay it in.
Simpson this year, Dan, 9 for 19 from the free throw line.
That's why I said just take. Hey, you got an 11-point deficit, take a swing.
First one for Simpson.
Way off. Ooh.
That kind of bit. Looked like a chip shot that had some backspin.
That looked way left.
I'm with you.
It was unbelievable. Good for him. Now you just go to the rim. You get 2 for 1 and you go. The clock stops, but you don't need to jack up a crazy 3.
Stevens knows it. Stevens to the rim, lifted out. Rebound for Watkins.
Now you can shoot a 3 if you made a decent pass. Oh boy.
There have been some glass testers tonight at Chrysler Center. Rebound for Penn State. That's way off. Another chance for Reeves. No dice. And Teskey works out of the thicket of navy blue with a foul.
Well, the spirit was willing right there for Penn State, but I'm not so sure the execution was very good.
The question remains at points with Penn State when they're in a drought, where are they going to get points? And here you see what Michigan's got coming up, including the roadie at the Kohl Center on January the 19th.
Well, I think Sunday's a monster game. I think Indiana, again, is a team that's going to be, they're 3-0. I assume they're winning. They were up big a little bit against Illinois. They're 3-0 in the Big Ten. Probably played the 3 easiest games that they're going to have: home against Northwestern, on the road against Penn State. But you know, it's a monster game.
Reeves in a hurry.
Yikes.
Teskey the rebound, and that should do it. The Michigan Wolverines building on their best start in 6 years. On the way to 14-0, 3-0 in the Big Ten.
Well, not a great performance, but a grinded out Big Ten type performance. And look, every game isn't going to be beautiful when you get into conference play. This one just goes in the win column.
Michigan gets the victory. UConn, Baylor next. Women's basketball into the studio. John Brinkley, Nell Fortner, Andy Landers. They've got it for you.